Oh boy, do we have a nice episode for this week. Now to be fair, not that much happened in this episode. The fights that took place were relatively quickly done, but we who watch Jojo know it's not always about the fights. It's about the chase. It's about the notorious chase. I honestly don't know. I don't know how they translated Notorious Big to being Notorious Chase. That's a little bit of a stretch. They should have called it Notorious Ginormous, because then it would have sounded funny at least. Also, it looks like we're getting closer to Trish revealing her powers, which most of you already know what they are. I don't know what they are though, so I'm excited. Oh, I hope that happens next episode. I mean, they're hinting for it to happen the next episode, so please happen the next episode. But let's not get too far ahead. I'll go over this episode with you bit by bit. So we start out the episode, everyone is jacking a plane going to Sardinia. And they're all doing the right thing. Giorno is like checking for signs of life, make sure nobody's there. Narantia has Aerosmith out, patrolling as he does. And Abba, interestingly enough, none of them know how to fly. But Abba is able to use his stand to duplicate the pilot flying the plane. Good use of your powers, Abba. It's moments like these where Abba proves, hey, I can be useful too. So the stand user is walking up to the plane, obviously an enemy, but I do kind of wonder what would happen if it wasn't an enemy. What if it was just some guy who never saw other stand users before? He's walking up to them like, wow, there's more people like me out there? And then Mr. just comes in, shoots the hell out of him. Basically, he was expecting them to kill him immediately. So once they're on the plane getting cozy, Bruno and Trish is having a talk. We're still seeing signs that Bruno has wounds and they're not bleeding and he's not noticing them. So more hints at Bruno being a zombie. Not explained that we know of. Trish is able to kind of remember two key details about her father. One of them being where her mother and father met and where her dad grew up. And that's all she knows. Despite having no signs of life on the plane, Giorno notices some kind of scratching noise coming from the freezer, and that's where they find these discarded fingers that I believe belonged to the stand user. So I guess the stand brought the fingers with him when he came up to the plane? I don't know. Anyway, Bruno makes the right decision by just sticky fingers, pushes the entire fridge and the fingers out of the plane, because we don't need to deal with that. As Giorno's sitting there, he kind of realizes there's writing all over the wall. And he's like, well, who the heck is writing this? They're using my name, they're saying all this stuff. I don't know what they're saying, because it was in Italian, and the sub, it didn't translate it. I'm using very crappy subs. Looks down and he notices that there is a second hand on his hand with a pen, just writing it, and he just didn't notice, I guess. So he tries to get the stand off his arm, but he can't use his stand to get it off because as it's like consuming his arm, it's also kind of consuming his stand. So Mista ends up shooting it off. Ouch! So the basic idea behind this stand is it's activated. I'm assuming that maybe it could work before because he was able, he was able to bring his stand out. It can be activated after death. I might have mentioned it before, but I hate the idea of Nen after death. I kind of think that it's just kind of bullshitty, you kill a person and now you have to deal with this other power that comes after they're already dead. It's like, nah, I killed them. I'm done. I win. Get over it. That's the idea behind this stand. Notorious Big just activates after its user died, and it attacks anything that moves, or anything that's moving fast, specifically. So it got on the plane because the plane was moving so fast, and I guess it was able to jump on it. It takes them a while to figure this out though, and Mista and Narancia end up getting some serious injuries. Giorno ends up getting his other hand grappled, so he has no choice but to just kind of cut the hand off outside of the plane so that the stand and his arm will fall away. But now that Giorno has no hands now, so he can't heal himself by turning objects into life, because he needs to touch the object in order to do that. What's more, he can't heal Narancia or Mista either. Bruno doesn't need healing because he's a zombie, that's a whole thing. Now, given that Notorious Big fell outside of the plane, I was kind of wondering, if it did like fall all the way towards ground, and there was other things moving super fast near it, would it just keep on attacking other things? Like, would they have screwed over a bunch of more people if they just let it fall on a town and just keep on attacking innocent upon innocent people? Would it be unstoppable? Is there an off switch on Notorious Big, or does it just keep going? You think about how we win most of the stand fights, it's usually by killing the user. So where's the off switch on the stand? How do you kill the stand? That's a whole other situation that we're gonna have to figure out in the next episode. So Jojo and friends are kind of in a bad position at this moment. Everyone's kind of resting in the turtle to regain their strength, when in actuality they might just die. And Trish is kind of alone with her thoughts, you know, realizing that everyone is doing so much to keep her safe. You know, you get the sense that Trish feels a certain amount of guilt and responsibility for their injuries, because there's not really much that she can do yet. So it's all boo-hoo, and then wha-bam on the windshield. There's the stand. So Notorious Big is back, attacking the plane. I guess because it's the fastest thing in the facility, so it just jumps back on the plane, I guess. And she has to kind of stay still, otherwise it'll She has to stay still, otherwise it will attack her. And then she notices it turns around and starts heading towards Giorno's brooch. It turns out before he chopped his other arm off, he used his brooch to turn that into his arm ahead of time. But he needs someone to bring that arm over to him to actually attach it. And if they can succeed on attaching it, he can heal everybody else. He can heal his other arm, then he can heal Mista and Narancia. So Trish knows, I gotta get that brooch to Giorno. But how the heck am I gonna do that? Find out next time in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. They're leading you on to believe that Trish is going to have to fight this thing in order to get the brooch over to Giorno. Now granted, Bruno is probably gonna pop back in and try to help her, assuming that he knows what's going on. And to be honest, when they were put in that position and I thought that the stand was going to attack other people, which is kind of messed up, but that's what I thought was going to happen. And I thought that she would actually develop her stand and she would develop a healing stand, because Giorno doesn't really have a healing stand per se. He just kind of cheats to get it done. And if Giorno ever dies, I would assume that the effects that he used his stand for would undo. So if you ever got healed by Giorno and Giorno dies, you're just gonna have an object coming out of you. That sounds quite unpleasant. But by the end of the episode, I think she's gonna have something different. It's not gonna be a healing stand. It'd be cool if she had like a super buff stand, right? Well, I've already seen her stand in the opening theme, and I see, you know, it punching, so I guess it can punch, right? Hopefully it'll be something interesting. You know, I've been interested in Trish's stand ever since I saw Trish. I was like, oh man, she's gotta be a stand user. When am I gonna see that? So leave your comments below what you think about this episode. Remember to like the video, subscribe if you want to see more videos, because I post a lot. And as usual, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!
Program restart.